Alright guys, in this video we will be going over how to solve for x given our angle relationship facts. So for number one, I have two parallel lines that's cut by transversal. The two angles that I have here are same side interior. They're both interior angles, they're between your parallel lines, and they're on the same side of your transversal. So one of the facts that we know is that same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. If you can't remember this, you can also remember that this is an acute angle, and down here is an obtuse angle. And anytime you have this situation, an acute and an obtuse will add up to equal 180. So I'm just going to set that up on my paper here. So I'm going to say x plus 106 equals 180. To solve for x, I want to move this 106 to the other side, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. On the left, it'll go to 0, so I'll get x equals, and then 180 minus 106 is 74. So for number one, x equals 74. Number two, the two angles that I have here are vertical angles. They make this bow tie shape. Vertical angles equal each other. You can also remember, this is an acute angle, this is an acute angle. An acute angle is going to equal an acute angle. So I'm going to set that up by saying 3x plus 6, my first angle, is going to equal 63, my second angle. To solve for x, I first want to move my 6 to the other side, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. On the left, it'll go to 0, so I'll get 3x equals 57. And now my last step, this is 3 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get x equals 19. For number 3, I have the exact same situation that I had number 2. I have two vertical angles. In this case, though, they're both obtuse. Just like an acute angle equals an acute angle, an obtuse angle will equal an obtuse angle. So I'm going to set that up once again by saying my first angle, 7x plus 1, equals my second angle, 4x plus 19. Since they both have an x term and they both have a number term on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and set this up to solve for x using my box method. So I'm going to draw my boxes and try to get my x's on the left and my numbers on the right. So 7x drops straight down, and the 4x, because it crosses the equal sign, becomes negative. The 19 drops down, and then the 1, because it crosses the equal sign, changes signs and becomes negative. I'm going to add my two little boxes together, so 7 plus negative 4 gives me 3x. Negative 1 plus 19 is 18. And now my last step is to get rid of this 3 before the x by dividing. So divide both sides by 3. Those will just go to 1, so I get x equals 6. Now, for number 4, I'm going to use the fact that the 3 interior angles of a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to take all 3 angles, add them together. So x plus 5 plus 2x minus 7 plus 59, and I'm going to set them equal to 180. Once I do this, I'm just going to combine my like terms. So I see I have two x terms. I have an x and a 2x. That will give me 3x. And then when I do my numbers, I have positive 5, negative 7, and positive 59 all on the left-hand side. Adding those together, I get positive 57. Now, to isolate for x, I want to subtract 57 to the other side. They'll go to 0 on the left, so I'm left with 3x. And then on the right, 180 minus 57 is 123. Your last step is to divide both sides by that number in front of x, so divide both sides by 3, giving you x equals 41. And now my last problem, I want to solve for x, but in this case, it's an exterior angle. Notice that it's not one of these 3 angles inside my triangle. So I first have to figure out what this is right here. I want to first figure out my 3 interior angles. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this angle y. So I first have to solve for y before I can get x, which is what I really want. So once again, these 3 angles, they're all interior angles of a triangle. They have to add up to 180. So I'm going to have 55 plus this box right here stands for 90. So plus 90 plus y equals 180. I can just subtract both of these to the other side. So subtract 55 over subtract 90 over, and that's going to give me that y is equal to 35. So now that I know this is 35, I can now figure out what x is. These two angles, they form a straight line. Notice this straight line down here formed by these two angles being added together. Any two angles that form a straight line, they're supplementary. They have to add up to 180. So once again, I'm just going to say 35 plus x equals 180. And to isolate for x, we're going to subtract 35 from both sides. That goes to 0, leaving us with x equals 145. And now you know more.